Hello, everybody. This is David Scott, another one of my vlogs. Somebody said, "What's a vlog?" I said, "It's a video podcast, so video blog." So, anyway, I'm here to try to encourage folks just as much as I need encouragement in my life. So, I do this for myself and everybody else that might be able to help. Any rate, my wife and I do a lot of counseling, and one of the things we do in counseling is we do a personality test. And one of the common questions on a personality test is answer which way is the way you do things. Which way is the way you do things? And there's four answers to that question. There's the right way, there's the wrong way, there's the fun way, and then there's my way. Yep, the right way, the wrong way, the fun way, and my way. And what we find is that a lot of guys, especially, will answer the question, my way is the right way. And so they won't really know what to do, and eventually they'll write down my way as like it's the same as the right way. So it's kind of a funny thing. And that's basically what I want to talk about this morning because that's not always the case. Sometimes we make some mistakes that we learn from the hard way. And I thought you might enjoy learning a little lesson that taught me a few things. So um, one of the things that I in my growing up years had an interesting childhood. Parents split up and all that crap, and and when I went to live with my mother for a while, she wasn't home very much. She had to work, try to pay the rent and so forth. So it was a difficult time, and so I was alone a lot. And anyway, started getting into trouble, and long story short, eventually I got arrested for stealing a car. And she took me to court and blah blah blah. And once that happened and they put me on probation, then I said, "Oh, I don't want to live under this." So I called up my dad. He sent me a one-way ticket to his place, and I started living with my dad. And my dad being a retired military man most of his life, I had a lot of discipline, which is better than nothing, and it turned me around. And within about a year, going to high school, I became the student council president. So we're having fun one day. We're having a student council president meeting. I mean, a student council meeting, and the Sadie Hawkins dance was coming up. Now we don't even have a Sadie Hawkins dance anymore, and I didn't even look up what the history of all that is. All I can tell you right now is that we would have a dance, and we would have to decorate the dance with corn stalks and pumpkins, and we didn't have any money to buy the decorations that we needed. So, like the brilliant guy that I am and the background that I had, I said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we go to this farm over here?" Vermont was full of farms. That was no problem finding one. And let's go to that farm over there where I saw them growing pumpkins. And I'll pick up the beer. And why don't the six of us meet over there, and we'll go in there and steal the pumpkins, and that way we don't have to pay for them. And of course, all the other guys are like, that's a great idea. I'm like, okay. So we go over there and we start stealing the pumpkins, and next thing we know, click. We hear this sound behind us, as we're having fun. We hear the sound. We turn around, and it's like there's the farmer with a gun in his hand. You get caught. So rather than the police arresting us all and going through all of that, I saw him talking to the farmer for a while. And guess what? They came up with a plan. The plan was that we would show up the following Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning at the farm. If you don't show up, you're going to be arrested. You're going to court. You show up at the farm, and the farmer gave us all pitchforks, and we had to shovel this huge pile of manure, and it was a huge pile, and it stunk, and it was bad. And the farmer would come by with his tractor and his wagon. We'd load it up, then he would take off, and then come back 15, 20 minutes later to get the next load. Nobody told us anything about water. Nobody told us anything about food. We were there from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. And then most of us guys that were there had to go to our football practice. And after we went to the football practice, the coach, of course, knew all about it. And he made us just simply run laps. And after every lap, we would have to get down and do 10 push-ups. And if he caught us not running the whole time on the lap and walking somewhere, we'd have to do 20 push-ups. So, long story short, we're like, what the heck did we do that for? And then it occurred to me even later on was I could have gone to the farmer and I could have said, hey, you know what? I'll shovel manure for an hour if you let me have a dozen pumpkins. And he would have been fine with that. So we actually paid a much higher price to do it our way. And I learned such a lesson that my way isn't necessarily the right way. And humility is something we need in order to grasp that and learn that this may be my way, but maybe there is a better way. And maybe I need to learn what that is. And I'm hoping that I won't make that same stupid mistake again. And I still make mistakes, but I make fewer of them than I used to. And that's the good news. And I'm just trying to encourage us, have a little humility, realize that your way is not necessarily the right way. There may be a better way. And embrace it. And try not to spend more time shoveling manure and running laps for a dozen pumpkins. Okay, hope that helps you today. See you later. See you next time. Bye.